Just on United now, the priority and the focus seems to be on a striker, which it has been for most of the summer, well, probably the last two windows, in fact, and a goalkeeper. Now, the priority list with regard to goalkeeper seems to be fluctuating every single week, but it looks like Manchester United are making a move now because they've made a bid worth 45 million euros for the Inter Milan goalkeeper, Andre Onana. It's a move that's been driven by Erik ten Hag. Onana actually played under ten Hag at Ajax. Early suggestions indicate that there's a gap in the valuation, but there is a feeling that a compromise can be struck. We think that Inter Milan want around 60 million euros for Onana. I've just been speaking to Gianluca Di Marzio, our colleague at Sky in Italy, who believes that maybe a deal could be struck if United put down 50 million and made up the rest of 60 million in performance-related add-ons. But United do continue to look at alternatives if they can't get this one over the line. But the mere fact that they're now bidding for someone like Onana must mean that somewhere along the line they are getting some kind of encouragement that a deal can be done, not only between the clubs, but also the player wanting to join as well. As with regard to a striker, there remain in talks with Atalanta over the Denmark international striker Rasmus Højlund. Again, a gap in valuation exists with this one, but United continue to work on the deal. Other options that they're looking at, potentially a more expensive option as well, is the Eintracht Frankfurt striker Kolo Muani. But after Mason Mount has arrived, they're looking to bring in other areas as well.
I've heard some United fans saying it's great to have Mason Mount in. That's quite a lot of money to spend, given that we desperately need a striker and we're probably going to have a goalkeeper. Do you get the feeling that United are relaxed about being able to afford all three?
I mean, there are budgetary constraints with regard to what Manchester United can spend in this transfer window. I'm told that beyond what they feel their budget is going to be, it can be increased if there are player sales. Now, there are lots of names potentially leaving or futures being discussed, like Harry Maguire, Anthony Martial, Scott McTominay, Fred, who's been interesting, Fulham. But United, in recent history, by their own admission, probably haven't really done the sailing part very, very well at all. They've not been able to get big fees for some of their players. That looks like it would have to change in this transfer window if they're to increase that budget and get more players than Onana, than Mount, than Højlund, and maybe increase the incomings in other areas as well.
And a word on Arsenal. A couple of deals look like they're pretty close to being done now, yeah?
Yeah, this one we've been reporting all day now. They've agreed, finally, a deal with West Ham United for their captain, Declan Rice. A compromise on the structure over a deal worth £105 million was finalised last night. It's understood that the £100 million part of that deal, that's the guaranteed payment, that will be paid over 2 years, be that in 2 or 3 instalments. One source has said that Rice will have his medical this week, maybe even as early as Friday, ahead of signing a long-term contract. And just to put into context how big this deal is, this is the biggest transfer fee between two British clubs, and it's just shy of the British transfer record that Chelsea broke last summer when they paid in excess of £106 million for Enzo Fernandez from Benfica. Another player that Arsenal are close to signing, they have an agreement in principle with Ajax over Jurrien Timber. Long-term target, they want to bring him in as a right back to increase the competition along the back line. The fee for that is worth an initial £40 million plus another £5 million in performance-related add-ons. Again, with Timber, the medical expected to happen in the next few days. Personal terms not expected to be a problem, so it will just be a case of him signing them off. And if they were to sign Timber, if they were to sign Rice, they've already signed Havertz. Within 3 weeks of the transfer window opening, Arsenal's outlay will be in excess of £200 million. A real show of faith to Mikel Arteta.